Hello all. Today we are going to start with module 4. So in module 4 first topic is about virtual memory. So what is a virtual memory? Virtual memory is a separation of user logical memory from the physical memory. So what is that? So already we have discussed in the first module that whenever you want to execute some process, okay, so when that particular process want to execute means that process has to load from its secondary storage device to main memory. Then only that process or that particular program will be going to execute, right? So that can be anything. See, for example, I already explained one example. Like, see, you want to open a Microsoft Word, your document, you have to open it and you have to write something and you have to save it once. So once you are clicking it, actually what is happening, so that particular application program, it will be usually stored on your hard disk, right? So once you are clicking, that time only that particular process will be going to store or allocate to the main memory. Then only it will be going to execute. So whichever the process want to execute, then first the process has to load from that any secondary storage device to the main memory. Then only that process will be going to execute, right? That all that details and all we have actually discussed in the first module itself. So secondary storage device can be anything. It may be your hard disk or your USB drive or anything, right? So, so suppose your process is having size 10 GB. Okay, so 10 GB process now you want to execute, and your main memory or your main memory of your system size is only 4 GB means how you are going to execute. Okay, so in those cases, actually, we are going to use the concept of virtual memory. Okay, so in virtual memory concept, actually, virtual memory means what? What do you mean by the term virtual? It is like it is not in real, right? It's an imaginary memory, right? So what is going to happen is only some part of that particular process or program needs to be in memory for execution. Okay, so what is going to happen is this process of this 10 GB. So you this 10 GB, it is going to be dividing into different pages. Okay, so that particular part of that process will be first loading to the main memory, and then that part will be going to execute. But user will be having a virtual reality, like it is the whole process is currently executing. Okay, so that is actually virtual memory concept. Okay, so for executing virtual memory concept, usually what we are going to do is this virtual memory concept, this logical address space of that particular your process or your usually this memory is going to use memory you will be having in your storage space. Also, actually, it is a memory, right? So that particular storage space memory you are considering as a logical address space. That particular logical address space can therefore must be much larger than the physical address space. Okay, so what actually in this particular statement is your process is actually 10 GB, but you want to execute 10 GB means your logical address space you need is 10 GB. So most of the time that will be much larger than your physical address space. Your physical address space in this example is only 4 GB, right? So your logical address space is usually much larger than your physical address space. So how you are going to use this particular logical address space concept by using virtual memory. So logical this logical address space of this process. So in this process, this we are going to use the logical address space. That particular process is actually usually it is going to dividing into equal partitions called pages, and each page will contains its some set of instructions. So what is going to happen? So I told a process, so current usually that process will be very large in size than your main memory size. So each process having an logical address space, it will be in some logical address space. That particular logical address space is going to divide into different pages. Okay, so process is going to divide into different pages and each equally spaced pages. Okay, and each page will be having some set of instructions. Okay, and your main memory or your physical memory usually dividing into equally spaced frames. Okay, so your process is going to divide into different pages and your main memory is going to dividing into different frames. Okay, use this terms in your mind. These terms we are going to use in further explanation. Pages and frames. Pages for equal pages in the processors and frames for in the main memory. Okay, so what usually in virtual memory they are doing is some part of page will be going to load to the main memory, then that part first it will be going to execute, then it will be coming back to its page and the next part of or next pages will be going to load into the main memory and will be going to execute. This concept is happening by using the virtual memory concept. So, how you can conclude? So, virtual memory is a technique that allows the execution of processes that are not completely in your memory. Okay, so as a user will be having a feeling that all the process is in the main memory and it is executing, but it is not actually like that. It is actually a technique that allows the execution of process that are not completely, some part only will be going to be in your memory and that will be going to execute. That concept is called, or that technique is called virtual memory technique. Okay, so usually virtual memory technique is actually implemented by using two methods: demand paging and demand segmentation. So here in this video we are going to discuss in detail about demand paging. Okay, so already I discussed your process we are considering it is in the logical address space. That logical address space we are going to dividing into different pages. Okay, you can take a real time example of you are watching a movie. Okay, so suppose you are watching a movie in your system. So what is actually happening? See, your movie will be having the whole overall your movie will be having some 2 GB size, right? So when you are starting watching your movie month, that whole 2 GB that movie won't be starting itself, won't be loading to your memory. What it's going to do is it will be going to first some minute. See, suppose 5 minutes is one page, means that first 5 minute page it will be going to load in your main memory. Then that 5 minute will be going to execute. Once that 5 minute thing is completed, executed means that 5 minute page will be replacing back to a secondary storage. Maybe it is maybe in a hard disk, correct? Then the next 5 minutes or next 10 minutes, whichever depends on the memory space availability. So next, suppose next 10 minutes page, okay, it will be going to what going to allocate to the main memory. Then that 10 minute will be going to execute like that. Some pages actually it is going to execute your a movie. Okay, so it is actually what is happening depends on the demand. Okay, so memory or operating system will be going to demand for some pages, then only that particular page of that process will be going to load from where, from the secondary storage to the main memory, right? That is called actually demand paging. Okay, so how demand paging is working, I will explain by using this figure. So this is your main memory. Okay, so this is your main memory and this is your secondary storage device. Okay, so in your secondary storage device you are having so many processes available. Okay, so I already told in your, this is your main memory. Your main memory, it is going to divide into different frames and your secondary storage will be having different processes and each process will be going to divide into different, or each process logical address space will be going to dividing into different pages, right? So here in this main memory you can see that two programs are there. So I have mentioned that is program A and program B. Okay, so suppose in the main memory program A has completed its execution months, it will be going to what, sending back from the main memory, or it will be going to rewriting from the main memory to the secondary storage. That process is called swap out. Okay, what is going to do? Once the program A is completed its execution, this is your main memory. So in your main memory already program A has loaded and it's completed its execution means that particular what this is what frames will be going to copy back to your secondary storage. That process is called swap out. So secondary storage, it will be going to swap or copy back. Okay, now it will be this particular frames will be now free. Okay, then what if some demand for next program B it has to execute means first this program B has to load from the, so when a demand for that particular program B is sending by the operating system to the main memory, what it will be going to do? First it will be going to load from that program B from that particular in this means it will be in the form of pages. Those pages of that particular program B will be going to copy to the main memory frames. Okay, so this copying of this program B pages to the main memory frames are called swapping. Okay, so copying from the secondary storage to the main memory is called swapping, and rewriting or swapping out or deleting your content from the main memory and to copying back to your secondary storage devices are called swap out. Okay, so depends on the demand. So whenever operating system is going to request for some process to main memory, so when it is needed that time only it will be going to copy that particular pages to the main memory. Okay, so that is called word demand paging. When a demand is happening, then it will be going to copy that pages from the secondary storage to the main memory. That is the concept of demand paging. Now, so what are the points you have to remember in demand paging is bring a page into memory only when it is needed. Whenever we need a page, that time only. Whenever the particular process want to execute, then the corresponding pages of that process need to be loaded to the main memory, right? So what are the advantages for that particular demand paging is less input output only needed and no unnecessary input output. Whenever it needed only we are going to do so. Less IO only needed, no unnecessary input output operations, and less memory only needed, right? Obviously see 2 GB memory, 2 GB movie you can watch with a what 1 GB or with a 4 GB memory, main memory size. Parallelly you can execute some another process also you can load to the memory, right? Main memory. So less memory only needed and faster response. So these are three advantages of demand paging. Next, page is needed. So in overall what they will be going to do in demand paging is, operating system is doing in demand paging is, when a page is needed it will be going to refer to that particular page. Okay, if that page is not at all there, okay, even that page is not at all there in the secondary storage device, what will be going to do? It's an invalid reference and it will be going to abort. Okay, if it is not in the memory means what is going to do? It will be bring to memory from the secondary storage. Okay, if it is not in the secondary memory, obviously it is an invalid reference and it will be going to abort. Okay, if it is not in memory, from the secondary memory to the loading to the main memory. Now, another concept or term called lazy swapper. So, what is a lazy swapper is this: instead of swapping whole process, okay, instead of swapping or loading the whole process, what actually we are doing, brings only those necessary pages into the memory. Okay, that particular technique or process is called lazy swapper, right? See, you were watching a movie. This currently first 5 minutes it space only in memory it is having months. What will be going to do? That 5 minute page will be first loading to the main memory and it will be going to execute first, right? So instead of swapping the whole movie, some part of the pages is only loading to the memory and executing. That is called lazy swapper. So instead of swapping the whole process, it is bringing only some necessary pages into the memory. That is lazy swapper. Swapper that deals with these pages is a pager. Okay, that is with the help of a pager. Next, so for each doing this demand paging in your main memory, they will be going to maintain a table. Operating system will be going to use a table called page table that is actually locating inside the main memory. Okay, so table is maintaining inside the main memory, and each page table entry will be having a valid and invalid bit. So two type of bits, or you can say these are protection bits. Two types of bits are there: valid denoting with V and invalid bit denoting with I. Okay, and these are the frame numbers. So here they will be having the frame numbers. If what is a valid bit, that particular frame or that particular page is already there in your, suppose already I told each process will be going to divide its process logical address space is going to dividing into different pages. So a particular page of a process is there in the main memory, then that particular frame you can say it is a valid bit. Okay, if that particular page is not there in the memory, then you can say that frame is an invalid bit. Okay, so V for valid bit if it is in memory, and if it is I means that particular frame is not in the memory, or not that particular page is not in the memory, that then you have to denote with I. Okay, then so you can we can explain with this figure in more detail. So this is your physical memory. So this is your physical memory or your main memory, right? Physical memory or your main memory, and this is your secondary storage device, and this is your logical memory. So secondary storage device, actually they are using the concept of logical memory, right? So here in logical memory you can see that, so a process, see in your secondary storage you are having so many processes, right? So when they want to execute one process means they have to use some logical memory concept. So here you can see that they are having 7 pages for that particular one process. They are using logical memory address space of 7 pages. So 0 to 7 pages. So in the 0th page you are having A. 0th page is representing with A. One page contain B. First page contain, that is first page contain B. Second page contain value C. Third page contain value D, and fourth E, fifth F, sixth G. So 7 pages you are having these values, right? So next, so this is your physical memory or main memory, and I told in your main memory they will be going to use a page table. Okay, so page table also you can see that there are 7 pages they have mentioned, and this column they will be going to mention which frame this page belongs to. So I told your process is going to divide into different pages, and your main memory or your physical memory is going to dividing into different frames. So main memory means frames and your process means pages, right? So 7 pages, this column is nothing but frame number corresponding to these pages. Okay, so what is this? See, in the 0th page, what is that? In the 0 means the 0th page is inside which frame of your main memory? Fourth frame. So 0th page is available in the 4th frame of your main memory. So this is the 4th frame of your main memory. So 0th page contains the 4th frame. So 4th frame contains the 0th page value. So 0th page value what? A, right? So that particular 0th page value is available in the main memory. So we are denoting is V, that is a valid bit, that is this page is already there in the memory. So this page we are going to denote with a bit, valid bit. Okay, next one is first page. First page is empty, means what? First page content value B is not at all there in your main memory, right? value B is not at all there in your memory. Previously, the 0th page value was there in the 4th frame, right? 4th frame, it was having the value of 0th page A, right? So we denoted with valid bit V. Now, first page is empty. That means first page value is what? That value B. This value B is nothing, that ABC is nothing but some set of instructions, okay? Some set of instructions that is copied in your main memory. Okay, so B, here we are denoting with some alphabets. Okay, so that B is, you can see that it is not at all there in the memory. That instruction is not at all there in the main memory, right? So if it something is, that particular instruction or value is not there in the main memory, means we will be going to denote with a bit named invalid bit I. Okay, next in the second page, you can see that second page is in which frame? Sixth frame. Second page is in the sixth frame. So second page, what was the value? Second page value was C. So it is in which frame? Sixth frame. You are having the second page value or instruction, right? So it is already there in the memory. So we will be going to denote with a valid bit V. Now 3-4 pages having values D and E, that is not there in the main memory. So we are denoting with invalid bit II. Now, fifth page is in which frame? Ninth frame. Correct? Ninth frame. And fifth page, what is the value or instruction? F. So F is there in your main memory. So that we are denoting with a valid bit V. Next, 6th and 7th, again it is empty, means that particular value instructions, that is G and H, is not there in the main memory. So it is denoting with invalid bit II. Okay, so this is how representation of your page table. Now, what is page fault? So page fault is nothing but whenever your page is not there in your main memory, then a page fault will be going to occur. Okay, so whenever a particular process want to execute something, okay, so it need CPU need some page, and it is going to search in the memory frames. That particular frame, it is not there, that page requested, means you can say it that there a page fault has occurred. So in the previous case, see here, see when CPU want to execute this second page or this is first page instruction B, it will be going to search in the main memory. It is not there, correct? First page instruction is not there. That time actually what is happening in a situation called page fault is going to occur. So how page fault will be going to do, or page fault will be going to rectify by using these steps. Okay, so suppose you are having an instruction M. Okay, so an instruction M is going to load, means that particular instruction, it will be going to check, first step is it will be going to refer or check inside this page table. So while seeing the page table, you can see that that page table frame is empty. That means it is invalid. That means what? Invalid. It's mentioned I, means that particular M instruction is not there in the main memory. This is your physical memory or main memory. So this particular M instruction is not there in the main memory. So only it is in an invalid I bit. So once it is happening like this, okay, so once it want to execute this instruction and it is not there in the main memory, means there will be going to, operating system will be going to start an interrupt. Okay, it is going to initiate an interrupt called trap. Okay, so operating system will be going to initiate an interrupt called trap. So in trap, what it will be going to do is, in the third step, this page is on the backing store. This particular requested page, it will be going to find out from the secondary storage device. So this is your secondary storage device. It will be going to find out that requested page, and it will be going to find out some any empty space is there in your physical memory or not. Okay, if a empty space is there, that particular time empty space is there or free frame is there in the physical memory, means it will be going to just copying to that particular free frame that requested page. Okay, suppose if there is no free frame, then only actually now we will be going to study different page replacement algorithm we will be going to use. That means already it is full, we have to fill this page here, means we will be going to replace some frame and we'll be going to copy this page, okay, with some replacement algorithms. Okay, in this example we are supposing that there is a free frame and we are copying the requested page from the secondary storage to that particular free frame. So once it is loaded to the main memory, it will be operating system will be going to reset the page table that is residing inside the physical memory or main memory. So once it is resetting, means what will be going to happen here, page frame will be having the frame number where this instruction, this page instruction belongs to this page. Suppose in the fifth frame it has copied that page instruction, means it will be loading with here page number is here with the page frame value 5, and it will be going to rewriting this invalid bit to valid bit v. It will be going to resetting to v, valid bit, because already they're in the main memory. Okay, then it is going to restart its instruction. That means restarting the instruction means it will be going to check and again it will be going to execute that instruction. Okay, so this is how we are going to, operating system is going to handle page fault. Okay, so word page fault is nothing but when that requested page is not in the main memory, there will be a page fault. Okay, so next topic is page replacement, different page replacement algorithms. That topics we will be going to discuss in the next videos. Thank you.